Good day and welcome to EDMS, where we strive to make EGD as simple as possible. In today's lesson, we will look at the geometrical construction in the Grade 10 HSE Workbook, page 4-23. So let's start by reading the task or the question. The question is as follows. Refer to the points and lines which is your given information on the workspace here on the right. We have a few given things here on the right, and we need to follow the instructions step by step. Answer these questions by doing the activities step by step. Now I'm going to follow the steps in this order from the top to the bottom, and I'll apply each step to the working space which is here on the right. Step number 1. Use the 4 center method and draw an ellipse at points A, B, C, and D. A is located here on this horizontal center line. B is located here on this vertical center line. C over there, and D over here. We need to do the 4-point method construction for this ellipse. So the first thing that you're going to do is we are going to draw that border. We know by now, if you've watched my videos, that you need to put in a border for your ellipse. Why am I putting in a border? This is the border where the ellipse needs to be fitted into. So the ellipse should not go out of this border. We use it as a guideline to keep the ellipse to size, which are those 4 points, A, B, C, and D. So at A, a vertical line, everything in construction, and C, a vertical line. Then we are going to draw a diagonal line from point A all the way to B, light in construction, from A to B, where the center lines are touching the border. From there all the way to there, light in construction. You're then going to take your compass. You're going to put the sharp point in the middle where the 2 center lines meet. We're going to take our lead to point A. And from point A, you're going to draw an arc all the way until you get to the vertical center line, which is there at the top. Whatever went out of the border from B to there, that we need to bring back to this diagonal line. So from B to there, this distance we're going to bring back to that diagonal line. Now we are left with this length A. Let's call this A1. From A to A1, this line we need to bisect perpendicular exactly in the middle. And the only way that you can do that is by using your compass. You're going to set your lead to more than half of this line's length. We'll agree that the halfway is about there, so more than half. You're going to draw an arc from A1. You're going to take your compass. Now you're going to put the sharp point on this side at A. I haven't changed the dimension on my compass. I'm going to draw that arc again. Now X marks the spot. There where those 2 crosses or arcs meet. That is your 2 points. Through those 2 points, you're going to draw a light line all the way until you get to the vertical center line. We did all of this just to get this golden point over there and that golden point over there. So if you've watched my previous videos, you know that we want to create a V and a V that is upside down. So to form the V, I need to take this point and mirror it on the right. So whatever the distance is from the middle to that point, I need to do the same as from the middle to the right here. So you're going to take your compass, you're going to go fetch that dimension from the middle to that golden point. That distance we're just going to project to the right on the horizontal center line. So there's your next point. Now from down here, that point, you're going to draw a light construction line through that point you've just made to create your V. So there's our V. Now we want to create a V that is upside down. So we want to mirror this whole V, but in the opposite direction. What you're going to do is you're going to take this golden point here at the bottom. So from the center to that point you're going to take, and you're going to put that point here at the top. There's your point at the top. That point we're going to use to draw lines from there through those points on the horizontal center line. There's one, and here's your second. There's your V, and there's the V that is upside down. Now we want to go and close them to form pizza slices. Okay, so we've done the hard work. It's time to eat. Now I want to go and close them, and that you're going to do by using your compass. So you're going to put the sharp point of your compass on that golden point on the vertical center line. You're going to take your lead to the border, which is at B, that point at B. You then want to go draw an arc only within the V. So from that line all the way to this side of the V, which is that line. Within those two lines, you can draw that arc, a solid dark arc. That should do it. Then you're going to put your sharp point at the top on that golden point. You're going to take your lead to the border at D. Then you're going to close the V that is upside down only from there to there. We don't go past those lines. We want to stay within the V and the V that is upside down. Okay, nice and dark. That should do it. To close it at the tips or the ends, you're going to put now your sharp point over there on that golden point. You're going to take your lead to A at the border, and before you draw this arc in, you want to check if it does get to those two arcs, which does. So once you are ready, you can then go put them in also as nice solid arcs. So if you've done your construction accurately, these arcs will line up perfectly. So there's one. Now I'm going to put my sharp point on this side. I'm going to take the lead to the border, which is C. And before I put it in, I'm going to check if that lead gets to those two arcs, which does. And then you can put it in. And that is your ellipse with the 4-center method done. So the next instruction is construct a circumscribed circle for the triangle E. Circumscribed circle is on the outside, and when you need to draw a circle on the outside, we need to divide two lines. When we draw a circle in the inside, we need to divide two corners. But this circle is a circumscribed circle, so it sits on the outside. So we need to divide two lines. And you need to do it as follows. You're going to use your compass. We are going to divide these lines perpendicular, any two lines of the triangle. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to take the lead to more than half of that line's length. That is the full length. Halfway will be about there. So let's say I will go to there. Lighting construction, I'm going to draw an arc from this side, then an arc from this side. I haven't changed the dimension on my compass. It's still the same. Where those two arcs meet or cross, that is the 2 points. Through those 2 points, we are going to draw a light construction line. So somewhere on that line is your middle point. Then let's divide this line here. Half is about there, a bit more than half. We're going to do an arc. Then from this side, an arc where the 2 cross, which is there and there. Through those 2 points, we are going to draw a line in construction. And where those 2 lines connect, that is your middle point. Now where those 2 lines meet, that is your middle point. So now you're going to put your sharp point of your compass on that point where they cross. You're going to take your lead to E or either one of the other corners. And if you've done this accurately, your lead will get to all 3 corners. If it does, you can then go put in that circle as a solid circle. So the circumscribed circle, done. Use line division and divide line FG into 4 equal parts. FG is over here. We need to divide this line into 4 equal parts. We have already a line which is touching point F. So we don't need to go draw an extra line. We have a line here. On that line, I'm going to do a division of 4. So I'm going to say for each 10 millimeters, I'm going to make a mark on that center line. And the last point, which is 4, that point, I'm going to take to point G. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. For each 10 millimeters on that line, I've made a dot. Now, if there wasn't a line, you could go and draw your own line at any degree. But I'm going to use that line because it's already there. So on that line, for each 10 millimeters, I made a dot, which indicates 4 divisions. The last division, which is number 4, took to G. And now we want to go draw parallel lines to that line, to line FG. So you're going to use 2 triangles. I want you to practice using your 2 triangles. So you're going to slide your triangle. You're going to set the one triangle onto that line, which is the last line. Then you're going to slide it on the other triangle, so make sure it's flush against it. And then you slide to 3, so make sure that it is parallel to that line. You slide to 3 and you draw your next line. Slide to 2, you draw your line. And you slide to 1 and you draw your line. That is your division for line FG. Done. Next on our list, construct a hexagon with the baseline H. So a hexagon, we've got a baseline, we don't have a center point. So you're going to use your compass. We're going to create our own center point. So you're going to put your sharp point on the one end, your lead to the other end of the line. I'm going to draw a light arc there. Now I'm going to put my sharp point here at H. Draw that arc again. Where the 2 arcs cross, that is your middle point. Put your sharp point there. I haven't changed the dimension on my compass. It's still the same. Now you're just going to tick off your sides. You put your sharp point there, tick off this side, sharp point there, tick off that side. Now you put your sharp point on your 2 new marks. There and a mark over there. Now we can connect them. We know that a hexagon has sides at 60 or 30 degrees. Because it is in this orientation, we know that these sides are going to be at 60 degrees. So we can check that is accurate. From there to that mark, that should be a 60-degree line. And from there to that mark, that should also be a 60-degree line. I'm going to rotate my 60 degrees in this orientation and draw in that 60-degree line and this 60-degree line. If they give you only one side of a hexagon, you can use this method and close it at the top. There's the hexagon done. Next one, construct a pentagon with baseline I. Here's the baseline, so we're going to take our compass, sharp point there, lead over there. I'm going to do the longer construction method. Circle over here, lighting construction. Now you take your sharp point, you're going to put it on this side. You're going to draw a circle again. Now they did not specify to what side this hexagon should go to, or to the top point should point to. So I'm going to point it in this direction, because if I point it in this direction, there's going to be more of the pentagon in this ellipse. So I'm just going for that purpose. I'm going to point it downwards. So I'm going to put my sharp point where those two circles meet down there. I'm going to put in a half circle from there to there. So where that half circle is touching the full circle, there and over here, that are your 2 points. I'm going to draw that perpendicular line through that point and that point. Light in construction. Where the half circle and that line connects, we are going to draw lines through that point. So from here, where the half circle is touching the full circle, I'm going to draw a line through that point all the way until we get to the circle, the big circle. Which is light all the way to there. Then from there all the way through that point, lighting construction all the way until you get to the big circle. So there and there's your 2 points. So from I to that point, there's the one side. From there to that point, there's the other side. So it looks like it's skimming that point D. So it's like a tangent line on that ellipse. Then you're going to take your compass. It's still on this length of the base. You can check that is still the length and that is still the length. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to come and mark it off on that perpendicular line. Over there and over there. And where the cross is, you can then just connect. From there to there. If we've went in the opposite direction to the side, this pentagon would have went into the ellipse. So that is why we took it out to the side. So that construction of the pentagon is done. Next, construct an inscribed circle for the triangle J. So this is the triangle J here. An inscribed circle, so it's a circle on the inside, so we need to divide 2 corners. So you're going to do it by using your compass. You're going to put your sharp point in one corner of that triangle. It can be any corner, and you can set this to any length. But I'm going to set it to this. Draw an arc. Where the arc is touching the 2 lines, that is your 2 new points. I'm using the same dimension on my compass. I haven't changed this. Light arc. Then you put your sharp point there where the arc is touching the line. Light arc, and X marks the spot. From that corner through that point, we are going to draw a light construction line. So somewhere on this line, the middle point is located, but we don't know where yet. We still need to do one corner. I'm going to divide this corner as well. So you're going to take your compass. You're going to set this on any dimension, but you want to stay within the triangle. I'll use this. I'm going to draw a light arc. Where the arc is touching these two lines, that are your 2 points, you're going to draw an arc again. You're going to put the sharp point there. Draw an arc. Sharp point here. Draw the arc again. Where those 2 arcs meet, that is your point. So from the corner through that point, that is your construction line. All the way until you get to this line. Where these 2 lines cross, that, my friend, is your M, or your middle point. So you're going to put your sharp point of your compass on that point. You're going to take the lead to the side, one of the sides, and before you draw, you want to check if your lead is touching all the sides. So mine does. If you are happy, you can put that circle in the inside of the triangle. There's your inscribed circle done. Second last instruction. Construct a tangent arc of radius 70 that includes circle K. Here's circle K, so it's including circle K and excluding circle L. So this is going to look like this. An arc which is included in K and excluded in L. So we have the radius given to us, and it's a radius 70. So R70, I'm going to make my calculations here. R70, when we include, we minus. So I'm going to say K equals 70 minus, this radius is 20, because diameter 40 is a radius 20. And that is going to give us R50. 70 minus 20 is 50. When we exclude, we plus. So L equals radius 70 plus this circle's radius, which is 25. So 70 plus radius 25, that is going to give you 95. Those are the 2 dimensions we're going to use to construct our tangent arc. So you're going to take your compass, you're going to set it first on the 95. Let's do the 95 first. From circle L, you're going to put the sharp point in the middle point of circle L. We're going to draw a light arc. Then K was 50. You set your compass to 50. Sharp point at K. In the middle. Draw an arc. Where those 2 arcs cross, that is your point. So my calculation is a bit in the way here, but that's fine. Then we can put our compass on the radius 70 that they desire. 70, sharp point on that point. And then if you've done this accurately, your circle K will be included and circle L will be excluded. I'm happy with that. Nice and dark. Only within the 2 circles. So from there all the way to there. Nice and dark. The last one. Construct a tangent arc of 70 that includes circle L and exclude circle M. So you're going to take your compass, you're going to set your compass on the 85. 85. That was for circle M. Circle M is over here. We're going to draw a light arc on this side. Light in construction. Then for circle L, it was the 70 minus the 25 because it was included. And that is going to be 45. So set your compass to 45. From L, draw your arc. Where the two arcs meet, that is your point to draw the radius 70 that they desire. Put your compass to 70, and then from that point, if you've done this accurately, your arc will include L and it will exclude M. So within the two circles, we can draw that arc in. So nice and dark. Put your arc in. If you continue with that arc will never go through the circles. So just to show you, that arc doesn't go through the circle, but we draw it in from the side to that side where it touches or skims the two circles. Please don't erase your construction. All of that counts as evidence of your process. So we have our final product here. We went through all of our instructions and we clearly showed all our construction. Great, that is that for page 4-23. Please make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you never miss the next lesson. Also give us a like as an indication if you have benefited of this content. Take care, and I'll see you in the next lesson.